Do you remember Mike Jeffries, the former chief executive of Abercrombie and Fitch? His name surfaced not long ago in connection with allegations that shocked many people, and today there has been a significant development. Federal officials have now confirmed that Jeffries has been declared mentally competent to stand trial on serious sex trafficking charges. This decision comes just months after he was previously deemed unfit due to claims of sudden cognitive decline, including dementia and late-onset Alzheimer's disease. According to court filings, prison medical staff now state that his condition has improved to the point where he is able to understand the charges against him and assist in his own legal defense. The accusations facing Jeffries are deeply troubling. Prosecutors allege that he organized gatherings where young male models were recruited, paid, and supplied with substances, sometimes without their consent. These claims describe a system that relied on power, money, and access, and they raise difficult questions about how such behavior could have continued for years without accountability. A letter filed in Brooklyn federal court states that despite ongoing health concerns, Jeffries is now capable of understanding the nature and consequences of the proceedings against him. That determination clears the way for the case to move forward. This trial is one that deserves close attention. Many observers believe it may reveal uncomfortable truths about how vulnerable young men were allegedly targeted, how they were recruited, and who may have helped facilitate these arrangements. Questions remain about where these individuals were sourced from, how the alleged network operated, and whether others were involved. For those who believe in justice and transparency, the fact that Jeffries is now considered competent to stand trial is significant. It means these allegations will be tested in court rather than delayed indefinitely. This case is not something that should be forgotten or brushed aside. It speaks to broader concerns about abuse of power within elite industries and how influence can be used to silence victims. As this legal process unfolds, many people will be watching closely to see what evidence is presented and whether accountability follows. I will certainly continue to follow this case because it has the potential to expose patterns of behavior that extend far beyond one individual. With that important update addressed, let's turn to the other major developments dominating headlines right now. There is an overwhelming amount of news involving Sean Diddy Combs, and it seems that new information emerges almost daily. Reports now suggest that while incarcerated, Diddy is exploring the possibility of securing a book deal. According to sources, he is interested in telling his side of the story and believes there may be a market for his personal account of recent events. The idea of a book written from jail is not new, but it raises questions about motive and timing. Some believe this is an attempt to regain control of the narrative, particularly as others, including longtime critics and rivals, have been shaping public opinion through documentaries, interviews, and social media commentary. When someone else dominates the conversation, it is not unusual for the subject of scrutiny to want to respond in their own words. Whether such a book would be well received remains uncertain. While there is likely public curiosity, critics question whether Diddy has the discipline or skill required to produce a compelling written account. In past behind-the-scenes footage, collaborators have described difficulties with creative output and focus. Even so, publishing is a business and controversy often sells. If a publisher believes there is demand, it is possible that a deal could be reached, likely with the assistance of a ghostwriter. At this stage, it is unclear whether the book will come to fruition, but the fact that it is being discussed at all reflects how intensely this story continues to capture public attention. For now, it remains one more chapter in an ongoing saga that shows no signs of slowing down. Alongside talk of a possible book deal, there have been further legal developments involving Diddy that are drawing serious attention. One of the most sensitive aspects of these cases involves questions about sexual health and responsibility. In newly filed court documents, April Lamprose, who has accused Diddy of sexual assault, is requesting formal admissions related to whether he underwent testing for sexually transmitted infections and whether any results were disclosed prior to the alleged encounters. According to the filing, Lamprose's legal team submitted more than 100 requests for admission, asking Diddy to confirm or deny specific claims. A portion of these requests focuses on whether he was tested for sexually transmitted infections before the alleged incidents and whether he disclosed any positive results. These questions are not being raised casually. In civil cases of this nature, such inquiries are often tied to claims of long-term harm or ongoing medical consequences. Lamprose filed her lawsuit in May of 2024, alleging that while she was an intern at Bad Boy Records, she was repeatedly drugged and assaulted. She claims that these incidents occurred over a period of time and involved coercion and manipulation. Among the allegations are claims that she was lured into private locations, including a hotel and a parking garage, and pressured into sexual acts after being given substances such as ecstasy. From a legal standpoint, the focus on health disclosures suggests that Lamprose believes she may have suffered lasting consequences. While many infections can be treated, others are lifelong. Courts often examine whether a defendant knowingly exposed someone to risk without disclosure, as this can affect both damages and liability. At this point, these remain allegations and Diddy has not admitted to wrongdoing. What makes this situation particularly troubling to many observers is the broader pattern suggested by multiple lawsuits. When similar claims arise from different individuals across different periods of time, they raise questions about behavior, accountability, and whether safeguards were ignored. These are matters the courts will ultimately need to address through evidence and testimony. It is important to approach these topics with care, especially for older viewers who understand the gravity of such accusations. These are not rumors or gossip. They are legal claims being evaluated within the justice system. The outcome will depend on facts, documentation, and sworn statements. Regardless of personal opinions, the seriousness of the allegations underscores why this case continues to draw national attention. As these proceedings move forward, they also highlight how power imbalances can complicate consent and disclosure. Interns, employees, and young people seeking opportunity may feel pressure to comply or remain silent. That reality is at the heart of many modern legal discussions around abuse and exploitation, particularly within entertainment and corporate environments. The courts will determine what is proven and what is not. Until then, these developments remain part of an unfolding legal process that is far from resolved. Beyond the courtroom, public discussion has also turned toward the impact of fame and media exposure on children, particularly in relation to Diddy's family. A post circulating online has sparked renewed debate about the social media presence of his twin daughters. Some have pointed out that an Instagram account bearing their name posted its first content on the same day their mother, Kim Porter, passed away. While the account may have been created earlier, the timing of the first post has raised eyebrows. For many people, especially parents and grandparents, this raises uncomfortable questions about boundaries and priorities. When children experience loss, most would expect privacy and protection, not immediate public branding. Critics argue that children deserve time to grieve away from public scrutiny, while others caution against drawing conclusions without full information. Regardless, the situation has reignited broader conversations about how early children are introduced to public life and whether social media exposure benefits them or places undue pressure on them. In today's world, children are often given devices at a very young age, and online presence has become normalized. What once might have waited until adulthood now begins in elementary school. For older generations, this shift can feel unsettling. Childhood used to mean anonymity and freedom from public judgment. Now, branding and visibility often start before children can fully understand their implications. These concerns extend beyond one family. They speak to cultural changes that affect nearly everyone. Parents face constant pressure, and technology offers easy distractions, but it also introduces risks. The conversation around the twins reflects a larger unease about how fame intersects with parenting and whether children's best interests are always placed first. Adding to the week's headlines, Damon Dash has once again found himself at the center of controversy following comments about past relationships within the music industry. During a recent appearance, Dash spoke about Aaliyah and Jay-Z, revisiting long-standing rumors and tensions. His remarks sparked pushback from others on the panel, creating an awkward exchange that many viewers found uncomfortable. Some questioned why these topics continue to resurface decades later, especially when so many involved are no longer alive to speak for themselves. Others criticized the tone of the discussion, suggesting it lacked respect and professionalism. The moment highlighted how unresolved narratives from the past can still stir strong reactions, even when their relevance is debated. For viewers, particularly those who value dignity and perspective, the exchange felt unnecessary. It also raised questions about media responsibility and whether certain stories are being revisited for clarity or simply for attention. As audiences grow older, many become less interested in drama and more focused on substance, accountability, and meaningful dialogue. As all of these stories continue to develop, one thing is clear. We are living in a time when long-hidden issues are being brought into the open. Whether involving corporate leaders, entertainment figures, or cultural icons, these cases challenge us to think critically about power, responsibility, and the systems that allow misconduct to go unchecked. I appreciate you taking the time to listen and reflect on these updates. If you find value in thoughtful, consistent coverage, I invite you to subscribe and share your perspective in the comments. Your voice matters, and respectful discussion helps all of us better understand the world around us. Thank you for being here, and we'll continue to follow these stories as they unfold.